What is up, everybody? Welcome back to a playoff edition of the NBA Rundown, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I got the full panel with me here today. Tyler, Travis, and JSU all ready to talk about some series prices and preview the upcoming NBA playoffs. Tyler, we made it. We have one more playing game, and then the playoffs officially start. How are you feeling about basketball with consequences?
I'm good. I mean, we got some nice matchups in this first round. Can't wait to see some of them start. I know we're going to have a lot of different opinions on this show, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, just doing some prep. We were on the different sides of a lot of games, so this should be a lot of fun. Travis, same question to you. How are you looking forward to watching some players play with stakes?
Yeah, it should be fun. I mean, we've already seen it a little bit, right? So the basketball's been good, but spread, we get to sit down on the couch, right, at like 2 o'clock, at least 2 o'clock my time, 11 yours, and not get up, right? And just watch playoffs after playoffs for the next 2 days. So I'm super excited. We got DFS for it. DFS playoffs is actually absolutely awesome. We have, Big T's at the live final, I believe. I think K Falik has an entry. I don't know if JCU has an entry, but we got tons and tons of winners that are going to help people out with over on the DFS side. And then we got sports bets to take, right? We got to do the series prices. Those are always fun. And I got to take Big T's money. So I'm super excited overall for the playoffs.
JSU, did you have a look at this injury report today? It was quite different compared to what we're usually looking at.
No, I mean, are we good to go? No injuries?
I love that. It's pretty clean. I mean, I think I got, let's see, for tomorrow, there's 9 players total.
No one's going to rest finally when the games actually mean something, spread. Yeah, I'm going to take a rest day today. Kawhi or PG, that would be the only guys I'd expect it from, but no one's going to take it now. They're fully ready to go. Everyone's conveniently healthy, right, spread?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. Yeah. So thanks, everyone, for joining us. A quick reminder, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. We continue to bring you this actionable content. And let's jump right in. We have one game tonight before
Hold on, time out. Before we jump right in here, can we talk about the last 2 games that we haven't been on for?
Oh, so do you want to talk about how that you basically got every game dead on, right, so far? This is what we need to do?
No, I'm kind of pissed at myself because the Spurs couldn't get it done.
But they covered.
They did cover, but yeah. I bet them. Oh, I bet them to cover, and I bet them money.
Yeah, I ended up.
But
yeah,
I will say though, if they didn't have that horrible first quarter, that game could have been completely different. Exactly. I mean, that quarter they were awful. Yeah. I don't even know how they got that game close. It was amazing, first of all, but that they even got back into that game. That first quarter was when teams have a quarter like that a lot of teams just fold.
Yeah.
It was impressive that they even came back. But Tyler, what happened to your Lakers? I thought they were just going to roll through Golden State. Golden State was winning that game for the majority of it. What happened? They got lucky. LeBron, was seeing 3 hoops, but hit that 3, drained it anyways.
I mean, I really hope his eye's all right. That was such a dramatic hit he took. But I mean,
the eye was the best. That was my favorite part. And there was a little clip of him telling Steph, he couldn't see or something like that. Steph's like, yeah, all right, buddy.
Yeah.
Frank was like that guy, if there was a 3-sided room and the other side was open and he was just walking into the wall and you turned him towards the open side and said, walk that way, he'd still turn around and walk right into the wall. Because he just would not take Drummond off the floor and put AD at the 5. Until he was down about 15 points.
I told you that was going to be the mistake in the game. I told you that.
That's Vogel's worst mistake so far, right? His belief in Drummond. That's the worst thing he's done in his whole tenure.
Well, it's not even his belief in Drummond. In this matchup specifically,
right.
It was not the right move to keep him out there. I knew he was going to, but it wasn't the right move. I knew that was going to be an issue for them. That's yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, a lot to take away from that game, and we'll definitely be jumping into that next series because I think it's potentially the most interesting one. I think that you could definitely make an argument for that. But let's figure out who the Jazz are going to play real quick, and that will be the game tonight, starting at 6 p.m. for me, 9 p.m. for you guys. Memphis Grizzlies are 39-34. They head to Golden State to take on the Warriors, who are 39-34, a rematch of last Sunday where they played to determine the play-in standings. The Warriors won that game by 12. Now they run it back Really don't see much difference in this game. It seems like for me, it's pretty hard to make an argument to back Memphis. Now, as they keep getting points, I see you could argue that they keep it close. Opened at 3.5. I've seen it go all the way to 5. Settled in around 4.5 right now. I think this will be about where it closes. Maybe a late Warriors push. We can see it get to 5, 5.5 right before tip. But I think this is going to be pretty close to the number. The under's taking a lot of money. It's now sitting at 221. Tyler, I like the Warriors here, but I didn't want to bet it at 4.5. I thought 3.5 was a great number. We won't see it again. What do you think of this game? Tyler, you muted.
Sorry, but I mean, this is going to be a tough one for me. Memphis, just like I've always said, they've been that thorn in my side. And watching these first 3 playing games, everything tells me to take the Warriors here. Mm-hmm. But would it surprise me to see Memphis come out and just chase them around for 4 quarters and lose by like 3? Not really. I think the safest play would probably be the over. I think that 221 is a little short because I think they're going to get up and down the floor.
Yeah, I mean, both these teams, they do like to get out and run. When they played the last time, though, the total, it only ended up at 214, though, so that might have contributed under it. That game was 228, 7-point difference already. So obviously the bettors are taking the results of that game into factor as they're placing these bets. Travis, what do you think? Are you taking the Warriors tonight?
Yeah, I definitely kind of want to go back on the under. I mean, I was live betting. I got it at like 235, so I got a nice little under on that one. It does feel like this game could definitely go under again. I'm not a big believer in Memphis against this Warriors team. I mean, sure, they're going to have Dylan Brooks, right? Like face guarding Curry as best as possible. It's just not going to work. It's just plain and simple. And Draymond Green, right? We knew that it was going to be a problem for him, right? With the size of like an Anthony Davis in that last series, right? We knew that would kind of be a problem on them. He's going to have trouble defending a guy like Anthony Davis, but Draymond Green against J-Val, I think he can contain him enough where I think it should be fine. So I'm going with the Warriors here. I know obviously you're upset you didn't get the better number, right? 3.5 is a better number to have, but I still think you can go back to the well with the Warriors here. I think they kind of take this thing home. I don't have, I don't have this conviction on John Morant getting it done. It doesn't feel like he takes over the game yet. Maybe he's not ready to, but I want him to become that alpha point guard that like takes over games. I want him to take that next step. I don't think this is the time he does it. Maybe he takes it next year, maybe 2 years from now. I don't know when, but I don't see it happening in this one.
Yeah, Ja Morant, right? Fantastic getting to the rim. Excellent finisher around the rim. Still, I would say pretty much average in the mid-range there on his floaters, and I'd say an average three-point shooter for how old he is. But that's definitely the key to beating him. Almost also, like mini Giannis, keep him out of the paint.
Yeah, can we talk about how Dylan Brooks was like one of the key reasons they won that game the other day? Like he played phenomenal. Do you expect Dylan Brooks to do that again? Like, no, I don't expect that. Like, that's part of the reason I think the Spurs didn't win that game. Like, Jace, you talked about it before. The Spurs battled back and, like, shit, had no business ever being back into that game. But they got back in that game, and the only reason they didn't is because Dylan Brooks was just phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, great performance from Dylan Brooks here. He's definitely a guy that I've upgraded as in my player ratings this year. JSU, I think this would be a chance for you to go perfect against the spread on playing games. All the pressure's on you now. Can you bring it home with the final one? Who do you have, Golden State or Memphis? Bring it home for us, JSU.
Yeah, so I think I have to back Golden State here. The way I've been kind of going about these games is really just play style and how teams how I figure teams are going to have success defending against what they're going to throw out. Golden State's weakness is definitely going to be down low. Joe Val just coming off a monster game. I think that's where they need to have success, Memphis, because you can't expect Dylan Brooks to go out there, play 40 minutes, shoot almost 50% from the field. And amazing, we're talking about he had a great game. He did, but he was 0 for 3 from three-point line. He's a three-point shooter. He wasn't even getting those. Those weren't what he was doing. Like, he was scoring from different areas. Normally we see him, and when he has a hot game like that, he's usually hit a few threes, right? He didn't have any threes in that game, and he still managed to put up 24 points, 10 for 21, almost 50% from the field. Like, that's really good for him. That shows that his game is evolving, but you can't expect that same performance from him, I don't think anyways. So the key is going to be JoVal. And we just talked about Andre Drummond and the Lakers' mistake leaving him out there, not putting AD at the 5, which I thought was a big mistake. I mean, JoVal, yes, he can dominate them on the when he's on offense, but this is a really good spot for guys. If they can't switch, like they're going to have to hard trap Steph with both JoVal and Dillon Brooks, who's probably going to run around with them. And like, if Dillon Brooks can't fight through screens and JoVal gets left on an island, he is done, like toast. And Jaren Jackson, he is a really good shot blocker, but even him, like, he's kind of slow-footed, like in my opinion anyways. Like, when he gets into defensive state, like Steph Curry could flame him too. So it's a tough matchup on the perimeter if Dillon Brooks can't like fight through all these screens. And I just don't think he can. I think they're going to get into spots where, like I said it last time, Draymond's going to get the ball. No one's going to be in front of him. He's going to run to the rim right when they collapse. Wide open shooters everywhere. They'll find ways to get Steph open as they normally do. Golden State's going to end up winning this game. What's the spread right now? Spread, is it 5?
4.5. It's
4.5.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go Golden State here. I think that's the side I'm going on. So I don't really like the Memphis team that much either. Obviously, I thought the Spurs, were going to win that game. I don't really have as much respect for Memphis overall. Maybe I should, but I think Golden State's just better, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be trying to earn your respect tonight, but this is a tough matchup for them. Golden State obviously has a championship experience, and I
want to say is if Ja can't get it done tonight, I mean, this is the matchup he should be able to have some success, right? Draymond's going to be dealing with JoVal down low, or he's going to be out on the perimeter with Jaren Jackson Jr. That means the lane is going to be open. Yeah. When the lane is open, Ja Morant should be able to get by people and hit those floaters and get to the rim. This should be the game where Ja goes for a big number. That's all I'm going to say.
I'll say
sing on JoVal.
If you're worried about giving the points, right? Let's say you're worried about, I don't want to get killed. Like, I just want to take a money line. You obviously don't want to take like the minus 210. You can just go on to one of these first round games and just do a little parlay, just a 2-teamer. Take the Nets, right? Minus 350. Are the Nets losing to the Celtics? Probably not. Now that turns into a minus 210, a minus 350, adds to minus 111. If you're really that nervous about giving the points, I know some people can be in those kind of closer games. But this is a great opportunity too, because we have a lot of first round games where we know some of these teams are going to just like win, right? Like the Sixers are another great example. Like the Sixers are not losing to the Wizards. I'm pretty sure, at least in the first game, no doubt. Maybe the Wizards find a way to take one, but I don't think so. But there's some great opportunities to parlay some stuff together where I think it's easier than like most days because we know it's the playoffs. It's game one. You're going to get the best from guys. So definitely look to do that at times. I think that can be a nice little profitable approach, but don't be doing 5-teamers, just throwing like a 2-teamer here or there to kind of maybe help some juice out throughout your bets.
Yeah, I got a 2-teamer moneyline parlay running for tomorrow that we'll probably talk about as we get into these series prices. Hank Q's in the chat thinks that we're taking the Grizzlies. Hank, I think everyone on the panel endorsed the Warriors here, so I hope that you're talking to people in the chat because it seems to be we're in lockstep here. I mean, I'm almost worried, right? But the debate is yet to come here because we're going to get these series, and I was going to go in chronological order, but I'm going to save the real juicy ones for the end. So let's just knock out the ones that I think that we're going to agree on first. The Dallas Mavericks are going to be in Los Angeles to face the Clippers here. Clippers have home court in that. They put this at minus 369. Travis said you could use that like as a parlay piece, but really, not a lot of interest there. Seems to be a number. If you're going to attack this, I would think the way to go would be if you that Dallas has a chance. Plus 308 seems pretty generous. Tyler, I don't think they have a chance though, so I'm not going to take advantage of what I think is a generous price in that plus 308. How do you envision the Mavericks and the Clippers series playing out?
I mean, I think it plays out pretty much the same as we've seen last year. It's just like this has got to be like the toughest draw for Dallas in the Western Conference because they have multiple guys they can throw at Luka, and it just throws a wrench right into their system to where it's like Porzingis just have to dominate this series for them to even have a chance. And I mean, we can't even see the guy stay on the floor for a stretch of games long enough to dominate a series. So, I mean, I think they get the job done. I don't see this going any more than 6 games. Maybe Dallas steals 2. So, I mean, a Clippers 4-2 win at plus 400 kind of intrigues me. But other than that, I mean, I think there's better spots in these series.
All right, our guy Eric Chang in the chat likes the Clips in 6. What do you think, Travis? How are you going in this series? It seems pretty straightforward to me. I really struggle to find ways that the Mavericks win this.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the Clippers are definitely, they're not messing around this time, right? I think you see Clippers, the broomsticks come out. I think they clean them out. Yep, I don't like Dallas. I don't think they're that good. I think this is a tough draw. I don't think you get 6. Maybe you get the 5. Maybe they steal 1. But I think this Clippers team is really strong right now. I think they're going to really take it to them. I like their bench. Their bench unit is a really strong unit too. Like put up that Dallas bench, right, against that Clippers bench. And like, do you have any confidence in that Dallas bench, like getting anything done? Now I know they tighten rotations. I get that. But some of that depth on Dallas isn't the best. I am curious what you guys think. I saw Rick Carlisle talk about how he said their best lineups are when they play bigger, right? So you're not going to see Porzingis at the 5. You're going to see the Porzingis at the 4. Well, you still might see him at the 5, right? But with another big man. Do you guys think that's going to help or hurt them in this series?
I think it hurts them. I think they get killed. I mean, the Clippers already have faster wings. The last thing you want to do is go less mobile and allow those guys to ISO even more. So just to give you a heads up, on Bet Online, the sweep is plus 450. JSU, what do you think of the series? I think it should be pretty quick and easy, right? Are you going to surprise us here, or are we just going to all say the same thing?
I mean, obviously the Clippers are the better team, right?
Yeah.
One thing I will say, though, with a guy like Luka, you've seen him with Tatum, these type of guys, when they get into these situations, they can win games. They can win 1 or 2 games. I'm not going sweep here. That's disrespecting, I think, one of the better coaches in the league in Rick Carlisle, one of the best players in the league in Luka. I don't care what you say. He's still one of the best players in my mind. I know he's had a little up and down year, but, these are the situations where I think they can win 2 games. Like, I don't think 2 is crazy. I'm not going with the brooms, the brooms and sweeping them here. I think that's a little too much. When it comes to the going big, I don't really like it. But the thing with it is he probably feels like they get murdered on the glass when they don't have another big in, like a Powell or, Willie Cauley-Stein or whatever. Like, because Porzingis isn't the best rebounder. They have DFS, not really. He's more in there for defense. But like, Luka's a really good rebounder. I think they've struggled a little bit when rebounding, especially when one of those guys isn't on the floor. That's the biggest thing. When those guys are on the floor, like, they're definitely a lot better of a rebounding team with those guys on, because that's what they're there to do. Rebound, rim protection, score around the rim. Porzingis wants to hang out on the perimeter too. So it's probably a little easier if he's hanging out there. They need someone down low, someone who can, banging around with the bigs a little bit. Does it hurt him in this series? Yeah, maybe. Clippers are not the best matchup for him, but overall, I still think they could win 1 or 2 games. So I think the series ends 4-2. Clippers end up winning, but I have more respect for Rick Carlisle than it seems some of you guys here. I think he's one of the best coaches in the game.
All right. Well, I don't think that we have much argument there. Just how quickly the Clippers will win, but it seems like everyone on the panel likes the Clippers to advance, and I can see why. Let's go to another one that I think we're all going to agree on. It's the Brooklyn Nets, who are minus 1,200 against Travis's favorite team, the Boston Celtics. But as we know, the Celtics championship's hopes essentially ended when Jaylen Brown went down for the season. They still have a nice team. For them to even have a chance, I'd say, to steal a game or 2, we got to see Charlotte Kemba. I don't know if we will. With some of these older players, though, it always seems like, they can bring it out for a game or 2. They just can't do it consistently, night in and night out. So can he do it for a game or 2? Maybe, and they steal a game. But this is another one where the matchup seems really tough. I think we might see some Durant on Tatum. That could really slow him down. If they can't create through Tatum, they're really going to have problems scoring. I'll be interested to see how much Brooklyn really ramps up their defense here. Regardless, it seems like it's going to be a pretty easy victory for Brooklyn here. Tyler, am I missing anything, or are we right to just be talking about this one pretty quick?
Yeah, I mean, this has got to be one of the quicker ones. I just don't see how Boston wins a game. Like, they would have to shoot the lights out for them to win a game, I think.
You don't think like a Marcus Smart gets a bunch of steals, goes 5 from 8 behind 3, and just puts a bunch of energy in that Boston building?
I mean, he could, but it's just like one of them things. Like, I just think Boston's path to win is like Tatum going off like he did in the Washington game.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that plays right into the laps of the 3 guys for Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you see all 3 of them have a bad night on the same night. So I think the plus 250 for the sweep is the way to go with this series. I just don't see how they win a game. Kyrie will cook Kemba the whole series. He made it a statement to dominate the Celtics all season. He did the same things to the Cavs, his former team. What do you think he's going to do in a 7-game series now?
Yeah.
He's just going to look to drop 40 every game.
Travis, as a Celtics fan, are you scared of petty Kyrie?
No, I mean, listen, as a Celtics fan, I know this series is over. I mean, it's over before it starts. Yeah, another probably sweep. I mean, of course, they could, similar to the Luka. I do agree with JC. Luka can take a game. Yes, I agree. He can take a game very easily. He can easily take over, steal one game, but that's the only path to getting a game, right? It's same with the Celtics. How do the Celtics make this 4-2? They don't, right? Unless Tatum goes crazy for 2 games. And these are outcomes that are 1 to 3% outcomes of a wild game where he's absolutely lights out. And Tatum could go off and they still lose. It's just, there's so many it's just such a terrible, terrible spot for the Celtics. I think this is another one. You could be getting the broomsticks out very easily. So not a huge fan of the Celtics here. And the Nets are going to go on and then rest up their guys and get ready for round 2.
Yeah, I mean, JSU, I hate to say this, but I think even the Robert Williams injury really hurts the Celtics' chances here. And at the beginning of the year, I thought there was no way I'd be saying something like that. So give us your thoughts on this series real quick.
Yeah, I mean, it does hurt them for sure. He's needed for rim protection, and he does a lot of really good things on there. He's got a lot better this season, which is something that at least it's encouraging if you're a Celtics fan. That's got to be encouraging because I didn't even think he would get as good as he was after just a couple years. So that's good to see. It stinks that he's not going to be around for this series. I think the likelihood is that this series ends 4-1 with the Nets ended up winning. I think that, in Boston, can Kemba and Tatum will them to 1 game? Can Marcus Smart get hot from the 3 for 1 game? Yeah, I think it can happen. 100%. What kills them for this series, though, and I really do think it would be a way more interesting series if Jaylen Brown was there because they needed him for another wing defender. It kills them that they don't have him in there to be another guy to throw on Harden, KD. And not that he can stop these guys, but again, it's just another long, decent defender that they could put on these guys where now they're going to have to roll out Semi Ojeleye to be in the game more. Evan Fournier will get cooked by whoever he ends up guarding, whether it's Harden or whoever. Marcus Smart can't guard anyone, and even Marcus Smart is going to struggle against Kyrie or Harden, whoever he guards. So that's just how good they are. So in the end, I think it ends 4-1. Brooklyn wins, and it's not a surprise. The Celtics, those injuries really killed. If those guys were healthy, I do think the Celtics had the talent to win 2 or 3 games. I really do. I think the Nets would still win in the end, but Brown and Robert Williams are huge losses for them.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I almost priced it as a $4 loss on this series, right? I mean, I can see the Celtics at plus 800. I think if Brown and Williams are in there, the proper price would be plus 400, and I think that we can make good arguments for taking the Celtics there. I mean, you make huge points about Brown, and on the offensive end too, because he would give Tatum an ability to rest, or on the nights that Tatum doesn't have it, because he's not going to have it all 7 nights, right? It would give them another option to create offense through and get some good looks for the other guys, because I thought Jaylen Brown's passing really improved this year, and as a creator, I really enjoyed his improvement this year. At one point in the year, towards the beginning when Tatum was still covering with COVID, Brown was the one leading that team and was the best player on the floor for the Celtics. Not trying to take it away from Tatum because obviously he was diminished during that point. But because of the absence of Brown and then Williams, I think this is a really tough matchup for the Celtics. Maybe a gentleman's sweep. And we will see how that one goes. So let's knock out all the easy ones first. The 76ers are minus 1,000 hosting the Wizards. This is another one. I think this is the easiest one. If you want to call a sweep, this is the one I think is most likely to be a sweep. Maybe Russ wills the game, but this is such a bad matchup for the Washington Wizards. The size and the defense of Philadelphia should be able to shut them down on the perimeter. I mean, they can win this series by a cumulative like over 100 points. I wouldn't be surprised by. Tyler, what do you think? Is this just going to be 4 blowouts, or can the Wizards get a game or 2?
No, I think this is 4 blowouts. Remember a couple years ago we watched Milwaukee just walk out there and run Detroit off the floor 4 games in a row.
Exact same. Yep.
So what's going to happen here? Ben Simmons is going to lock one of those guards up. Then it's just game over because then it's the other one versus Embiid, Harris, Curry, all them guys. They'll just light them up. Washington's going to want to play that high pace too and just play right into Washington or play right into Philly's lap and just let them run the score up.
Yeah, I mean, this seems like it's a pretty easy one to handicap. Travis, are we missing anything?
Yeah, I mean, you said you wanted to get through the easy ones. Like, I think the Wizards win. I'm just kidding, Spy. I'm just kidding. I do think the Wizards can. I do think the Wizards can steal like a game or 2, right? Like the thing I'll say is like Philly plays down to their competition a lot of the time. I do think that when you have it, there's nothing more powerful spread than like a team that just like thinks they're better than they are. Like, and that is the Wizards right now. Like, this team thinks they're really good. And like, they're not a tough out for sure. I mean, now I know Philadelphia's going to beat them. Like, they're going to beat them 4-0 or 4-1. Like, that would be my guess. Like, I'm sure you could, I don't know if you can bet both and then as long as it doesn't go any further, you take some money and you walk away. No one's going to be able to stop Embiid, right? They got 18 fouls to give the Wizards with Alex Len, Daniel Gafford. They're going to keep throwing all those guys, Robin Lopez, all of them down low. They're going to do everything they can. Embiid won't be able to be stopped, but I wouldn't be shocked if they stole a game, right? Just because the Wizards are playing very good basketball right now and have been very impressive.
All right, JSU, what do you think? 4-0, 4-1, 4-2? You want to just call the shot here?
So how much disrespect would it be if I just said I think Philly sucks and they're going to lose this series? That's too much disrespect.
Yes, right? You know that's not happening.
I mean, that's
no, it's not going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I just wanted to hurt Philly fans real quick. So again, I'm in a tough situation here because I do think Mangone hit a really good point, and this is something where I would be very cautious on the sweep bet. Philly plays down to the competition. They do it all the time. All right, and now maybe people are going to say, JSU, it's the playoffs. They're going to turn it on, and if they turn it on, they should sweep this Washington team. But I do not trust that they will. I think Washington can get a game. I think Westbrook and Beal can easily get one game. Like they're good enough to get one game. The problem is going to be Embiid. Like they just don't have an answer. The thing with Philly is, and I don't know, hopefully they understand it. No one has an answer for Embiid. Really, like there's maybe the Lakers, like might be the only team that has like a real answer for Embiid. That's how good he is. The problem is going to be if teams just start doubling them and forcing other guys to hit shots. Philly has a good amount of shooters out there that they can run to hit shots. But if, they could catch a game where Philly's not making shots and, maybe Embiid gets in foul trouble. Like that's the way you got to go at him. And the one good thing about Russ, he doesn't care who is, guarding that rim. He's going to attack. So, maybe we get a shot where Embiid gets in foul trouble and Washington picks up a game. I think the likelihood is this series ends 4-1 with Philly ending up winning. So yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. We'll wait until the next series where I can pick against Philly. I'm excited. I really wanted to pick the dog against Philly just to piss people off, but we'll wait until the next series.
Yeah, I think that we might be able to revisit this in about 2 weeks here as we're doing the second round preview.
Yes.
Do we think if Washington wins a game, it's more than likely game 1? And they catch them like kind of still sleepwalking from the end of the regular season.
Yeah,
I think it's game 3. Because they might be a bit tired for sure for the game 1, and like I think it's once Philly's like they have some wiggle room, right? They're up like 2-0, and then they feel like they're feeling themselves, and then they just typical Philly letdown, you know?
Yeah. They go to Washington, Tinder's popping. It's a bunch of new girls they haven't seen. They figured we already got this in the bag, right? Well all of them except for Ben Simmons, who's playing Call of Duty till 6 a.m. and streaming it.
Yeah, game 3, right? Like take whatever the Wizards are. You know, the line will be a little bit deeper than it was, right? So you'll get a couple extra points. Take the Wizards and then maybe sprinkle money line. We'll say that for game 3.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for hanging out with the Run Pure Bets team. Please give us a like and subscribe to the channel, and we will continue to bring us the info. Now we're getting into the real meat of the series, JSU. This is the one that I was holding off here because I can't wait to talk about it. The Milwaukee Bucks are hosting the Miami Heat in the rematch of the series heard around the world last year. The upset heard around the world as Miami and Jimmy Butler really made their name by not only beating Milwaukee, but flat out embarrassing them and running them off the court last year. Milwaukee's made some changes, though. We're adding P.J. Tucker. We're adding Jrue Holiday and Eric Bledsoe, getting rid of him. I'm right. That's addition by subtraction right there. I'll tell you what, I think the price is wrong. If you're going to bet the individual series, there's value on Miami. But I like the Bucks to win, so I went ahead and attacked this the other way. But I'll hear your guys' thoughts first before I'll tell you guys what I did and prepare to get ridiculed. Tyler, what do you think? Can P.J. Tucker and Jrue Holiday be the difference for this team?
I think so. I mean, Miami's going to be missing Crowder. Dragic isn't shooting the same. Neither's Duncan Robinson. Hero's not playing the same as he was last year in the bubble. I also don't think they make half the threes they made last year. I mean, they rained bombs down on that team for 5 games. It was every 3 they shot was just dropping through the bottom of the net. I don't think the Bucks are stupid enough to drop on screens either and leave guys like Hero and Robinson open. And I also think the Holiday upgrade over Bledsoe is really going to show in this series because it's not going to allow Dragic to just go off. So I kind of like the Bucks to win here 4-2 because just like JSU said about Dallas, this is one of the spots where they have a great coach and they have a star player. So, I mean, I think they get 2 games. That 4-2 plus 400 I like. But I think Milwaukee gets the job done here.
I like Milwaukee to win, but if they lose this game 1, I might rip the little ticket up and throw it out the window. Not that I even have bet it yet, but if you had a Milwaukee ticket, they have to win game 1 in my mind. But I do like them to get it done. Travis, what do you think?
Yeah, I like the Bucks to get it done too. I haven't thought too much of like how many games it's going to happen, I will say, but I think I like Tyler's call, maybe the 4-2. I'm definitely a big fan of – I shouldn't say I'm a big fan. I think the Bucks are better than what I expected, right? You know, life's about expectations, and I've been hating on the Bucks for a while, and I think they're better than I thought they were going to be like as of like 3 months ago. So I'm excited to see how they play in the first series. I think watching them in the Miami series is really going to determine my handicap for the Bucks going forward in the next couple rounds. I feel like they've been holding back a bit. So I'm excited to really watch that and see what kind of team they are. You know, I love the hate on Giannis. So I'll say this, I get the equity if the Bucks win. I get to go to the window, collect my ticket. If the Bucks do lose, I get to make fun of Giannis on Twitter, which I know is the perfect price of money. But hey, I'll take that at least. I'll take what I can get. So I'll either be making fun of Giannis on Twitter for being bounced from the first round, having a good time, or I'll be going collect my Bucks money.
All right, JSU, the album that shot Tupac to prominence was called Me Against the World. Are you feeling the same way right now? Let's hear your pick.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling like it's me against the world here because the world is on Milwaukee. And I don't know. I just see a ton of value in this price here. What plus 250, something like that for the series? I mean,
you can't bet Milwaukee minus 300. Yeah, you're right about that.
That's wrong. Like I don't care if you think the Bucks are much improved and they're going to win the series. That is just wrong. That is just wrong. So the price, the value is on the Heat here, and I think the Heat are one of those teams where, you know, once it's time to, you know, once the games start meaning something, you're going to start to see Jimmy care a little bit more. You're going to start to see Bam was a key in this game, key in the series last year too. He was dominant on the boards, and he is one guy who like can give Giannis fits at times if he's just like focusing on him the entire time, which they are going to do probably, right? And That was a key to the series, though. It wasn't just Bam defense. He was dominant on the glass. He out-rebounded Giannis multiple games in this series and the whole team. Like, he was one of the best players on the floor for that series, and he was the key piece. He needs to be the same again. The other thing is Tyler was talking about, he doesn't think they're going to drop on screens. The problem with the Bucks is the way they play defense, they are going to end up giving up threes. That's just the way they play. It has nothing to do. It's just the style, the rim protection. They're forcing teams out to the perimeter for shots. Now, should they do that against the Heat? The Heat do have a lot of shooters. Maybe they haven't been as good this year. Hero definitely has not been that good this year, but they are still shooters. Duncan Robinson can catch fire. We've seen him before. He just randomly hits 6 threes in a quarter. Like, the guy just can get hot. Tyler Hero can still get hot. This is a tough matchup for the Milwaukee Bucks still. They have Bam on the other side. They have the shooters around them. And then they got Jimmy, who, I'll say it again, I'll take Jimmy. If you're telling me I got one game and you can take Jimmy or Giannis for this one game, give me Jimmy. Like, Jimmy is going to play hard all the time in big games, and he's going to hit big shots when it matters. People are underestimating this fact here. Giannis can't do that. He's not going to hit the game-winning shots. He can't. Like, you'll see it again in the playoffs, whether it's the Heat or whoever else. Giannis, at a certain point, he's just not going to be able to do it. Now, can Drew? Maybe. Maybe that's why they got Drew. I think Drew is an unbelievable basketball player. I think he's by far the best perimeter defensive player in the league, and he can hit big shots, but I just see so much value with the Heat price that I have to take them here with the series plus 250. Give me the Heat. I don't know, 6 games, 7 games. Like, I think the series goes 6 or 7. I think it's a close series. So I'm not saying don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Heat sweep here. Like, I'm not saying that, but I think it goes 6 or 7. I think the Heat get it done.
I love that you stayed on brand here and you're managing to throw a shot at Ben Simmons while we're breaking down the Heat Bucks by calling Holiday the best perimeter defender here, right? So you're staying on brand. We got a little Ben Simmons slander in, and I didn't even expect it here.
Listen, it's not slander if it's true.
No, I know. And saying that one of the greatest athletes in the world might be slightly better than you, it's not slander. It's not disrespectful.
It's not slander at all to be second or third. That's not slander. I mean yeah. Maybe to him it'd be slander. Yeah. I don't know. He thinks he's the best. I don't blame him though. Like, if I was him, I'd be saying I'm the best. You should have that confidence. Like, why wouldn't you? Why would you say someone's better than you? Like, I wouldn't.
Exactly. Let me just give you some numbers here, though, to kind of support this Heat regressing on the shooting. Duncan Robinson's down from 44.6 to 40.8 this year. Tyler Hero's down from 39% to 36%. Jay Crowder was at 44.5% last year. Been replaced by Trevor Ariza, only 35%. And Kelly Olynyk shot 41% last season. Obviously, he's out the door in the ill-fated Oladipo trade. It's going to be a make-or-miss league. It's going to come down to whether or not these Miami shooters can get back on track. I'm betting that they don't, and that's because not that they're bad players. I really do think that the increased ability to defend brought by Drew Holiday and PJ Tucker really is the difference in this series. Not to mention one more year of Giannis just improving. I thought that he did a better job with that mid-range jumper. His three-point shot, he's still only at 31%, but at least unlike your least favorite player, Ben Simmons, he's firing it up there. He's letting the defenders know that he's not afraid to take it. And there are some big ones in
let the Heat, let him shoot. Like, if I'm the Heat and Giannis beats me with his outside jumper, you take those losses. Like, I'll bet the Heat, and if Giannis beats me shooting those shots, I'll still bet it. Like, I'll bet it saying I don't think he can for an entire series. If he does, though, they're going to win. Listen, if Giannis makes those shots for the entire playoff, they're going to beat the Nets. Like, they could beat the Nets.
I do think they'll beat the Nets. Yeah.
That's the truth. Oh, no, stop, spread. No.
And so that's where I was going for this. So JSU. So I could not. You're right. I mean, so you're right. This price is wrong. The price should be plus 150, plus 180, right?
Right. Yeah,
for the Heat. So there's value on the Heat. But
I thought like 170 to 180. When Mangone asked me what I thought it opened at, like when we were talking on the phone whatever it was, I said, right, Mangone, what did I say? It was like plus 170 or plus 180. And then he was like, nope, not even close. Like there is value on taking them in the series. Even if you think it's somewhat of a long shot, I still think it's a good bet, even if you're more towards the Bucks.
You can also hedge that ticket, right? Like if you do get to like the game like 7, right, and you're really that worried or something, or someone ends up getting hurt in game 6, and so like there are ways you can hedge out of the ticket too as well.
Yeah.
If you think so. But I mean, ultimately, it's one of those series where it's going to be fun to watch. Like we're all excited for it. It's one that we're looking forward to. So
here's the thing, too. People in the chat, like I got Giannis is a top 5 player. Maybe in the regular season, give me Jimmy in the postseason. I don't give a crap what Giannis does in the I don't care how many triple doubles Giannis puts up, how he blocks shots and runs the floor and dunks on people. I don't care. It's totally different. Like
if you saw what I just did before I disappeared for a couple seconds, that's what Giannis does at the end of the game. He just disappears and then he comes back in the action.
Yeah, if Giannis wants to win, he better be handing the ball to like Drew Holiday when the game gets close and tight and they need a jumper to win. They better be giving Drew Holiday the ball, not him. If I have a Heat ticket, I'll be praying he has the ball at the end of the game. Like, give me that. Give me him against Bam.
And if I'm holding this Bucks ticket, I want them to be up by 10 going to the end of the game. I don't want close games. If the Bucks win, they win this in transition. They win it with their defense, and they win it getting stops early, getting out to the lead, and then putting scoreboard pressure on Miami. JSU is correct. If these games stay close, advantage Miami. But Milwaukee has 10 times the blowout potential that Miami does this time around. Last year they had it. Last year they were shooting in the bubble. Shooters gym, wonderful, fit their team perfectly. Let's see if it happens this year. And I think you got great points. But so here's the way I hedged against this JSU, and you're going to think this is crazy. So I said, okay, I can't bet the Bucks at minus 300. That's an absolutely terrible bet. How can I get some value on the Bucks here? I'll just bet them plus 950 to win the title. What do you think about that bet? I took them at plus 950.
Win the title?
I figure if they make it to the finals, they can win. They'll beat the Clippers.
I gotta call Big T to sub in for me. I might have a heart attack live on the show.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I told you.
Win the title? No, spread. Oh.
Do magicians win championships? Is he just going to make himself disappear and then come back with a title in his hand? Like, I mean, he needs to be able to shoot, spread. I mean, it's like Drew Holiday's going to have to play like Dirk did with the Mavs and just like take over then. I mean, I need to see Giannis. I think if you're someone who's holding a Bucks plus 950 ticket spread, I want to see Giannis in that series against the Heat. I want to see him like shooting like 3-pointers and like actually making shots. And like when they sag off him, he makes those shots and then teams have to start thinking. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see them up by 10. I want to see them like actually have to, have that pressure on them. I want to see the game get close, and I don't want to see Giannis hand the ball off to Drew. I want to see Giannis take over. Like that's what I want to see, spread. And that's what
I don't mind Giannis handing off to Middleton or Drew there towards the end because I do think that they can create a better shot here. But part of my betting on this ticket is I think they have arguably the best defense of their closing 5. Who would you say has a better closing 5 defense than the Bucks?
Trying to think. Closing 5 defense.
I mean, obviously you have to put the Clippers in that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, Clippers are up there, but it's again that interior. I mean, I guess with the block, obviously the blocking depends what they exactly run out there. Yeah, I mean, they definitely they have. I don't argue against the defense that they have, right?
Yeah.
But I argue about when it's a close game in the half court setting, them trying to get a bucket. Like that's been one of their biggest issues. I don't think anyone's argued against the defense, and things change in the postseason. It becomes more of a half court game. It's not this full court game where no one's playing defense. I mean, we've seen it. Like if you're someone who's watched a lot of regular season basketball and now you're watching,
unfortunately, I have.
It's night and day. It's completely different game.
Yeah. Except for the Pacers, Hornets, they didn't get the memo to up the defensive intensity.
Do you remember seeing when we were watching the Warriors game, right? You saw Steph Curry at the top of the key, and you see AD and Caruso all over Curry, just like this, right? Like everywhere. You don't see that in a regular season game. I mean, they're just sitting their hands down, relaxing. It's a totally new ball game. So I need to see them be able to score in that half-court setting, especially when it matters down the stretch.
And and one other thing too with the regular season stuff, like throw out all of the games that Miami and the Bucks played. All three
Butler
of them,
didn't play any. Well, you could throw out all Miami's games. Butler only played one game against the top 3 seeds. He only played one game against top 3 seeds.
Butler didn't play in any of those games, and there were other guys out too. I mean, if you look at the starting lineups, you can tell that they were not fully healthy, and they were running out different guys. They actually won one of those games too. I have no idea how, but they actually won. And
it was the back-to-back after the Bucks smashed them by like 40 the first night, and then went out and partied or something. And just to defend my bet real quick, it is a plus 950, right? I mean, I didn't say put the mortgage on it. I said they have a 12% chance to win. I think it's a little higher than that. My idea is I think that if they did make it through that gauntlet, which is a big if, I like the way they match up with either Western Conference team. So I just liked them in the finals. That's why I went for the full title.
What's going to happen when the Lakers conference. Just slow them right down to a snail's pace, and Giannis has to play half-court offense the entire game?
But I don't mind that matchup because I have Lopez. I have the big bodies. I got Lopez. I got Portis. I got Giannis. I can
what's going to happen when they can't have success in transition like they want to have? What's going to happen when the team literally stops them from being able to run and transit? Like, look, you're not going to get that against LeBron. LeBron's not going to just allow you to run up and down the floor.
But I'm also going to be able to slow LeBron down in the half court by being able to mix up.
They want to slow down,
Tucker. I can put Tucker, Middleton, or Holiday on LeBron all at any time. I can put Giannis over on ID. I got Lopez out there. I really don't mind that matchup against the Lakers personally. But we'll see.
That's fine. You're right though. It's a sprinkle bet, right? You're not saying it's a lock bet or anything like that. You're just saying that's what you're doing.
If the Lakers get it that far, they are going to be tough. A lot of that is also me thinking that someone is going to be able to take out the Lakers before then. And I like the way they match up with the Clippers.
The biggest point, though, I'm trying to make here with the Heat against the Bucks is that people will again come into it just like the play-in stuff. I've been saying it. The postseason's different, and wait until you see these the game slows down. I think that hurts Milwaukee as well. Milwaukee doesn't want it to slow down. They, like you said, to beat the Heat, you want them running in transition, scoring, having success. Like, if the Heat can really slow this game down, advantage Miami. Like, instantly advantage Miami. Milwaukee needs to push their pace on them to have success. If you think they can do it, though, then you should be betting Milwaukee. I think Miami has the guys in place and the coach who is going to have a really good strategy against this Bucks team.
Well, I can't wait for tomorrow, JSU, and I'm sure we'll be sending messages, and one of us will be gloating, and one of us will be quite upset.
After one game, we're going to gloat? No, I'll wait like 2 or 3 before I start gloating. No, I'll wait like 2 or 3 before I start going off.
All right, yeah. No, I'll tell you what. If you guys win game 1, though, I'll probably do the Homer Simpson and just shrink into the bushes. But all right, let's go on. No more pretend finals matchups. As fun as that was, we will go on to an actual matchup that will be played. This should be a lot of fun. The Portland Trailblazers are going. Denver Nuggets have home court advantage in this one. They will start in Denver, but everybody loves Portland on the loss of Jamal Murray. And hey, that Portland starting 5 that they do now have, or their 5 that they're going to close with, the CJ, Dame, Rocco, Powell, and Nurk have it's like a plus 14 net rating in the minutes that they've had together so far this season. So they will be able to close strong. That's the main thing that's kept me off the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets are a little bit undervalued. I still think they get the offense even without Murray in there. Of course, a little bit of a concern on where they're going to get stops, but Murray wasn't that good defensively either. I don't mind funneling more usage to Jokic. I'm just worried about how well this Portland team is playing. Tyler, what do you think?
I mean, this is a tough one with all the injuries for Denver's side. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, that Portland side really intrigues me. I mean, you talked about that lineup they closed the game with. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's got to be one of the better lineups in the league, like, overall.
Oh, it's fantastic, yeah.
Like, I mean, that lineup is just going to draw problems for Denver, I think. Mm-hmm. You're going to get Campazzo late game or Monty Morris on Dame Lillard. Barton should be back, so he'll take one of the other guards. Mm-hmm. Porter's defense is still suspect, so you can't really depend on him to guard anybody. But, I mean, the offense is there. I mean, they got this series listed as a pick'em. I also think this one goes 7 games because I just think these teams just trade back and forth wins. But, I mean, I got to take Portland here. Give me Dame. I think they get the job done. I think at minus 110. I think that's my play.
All right. Tyler likes Portland here. And JSU, I was telling Tyler before we started, if you were to give you an ideal defender for Jokic, I think Gobert's number 1, but Nurkic might be number 2. What do you think of this matchup?
Yeah, so for whatever reason, and it's probably because they played for 2 seasons together. So they practiced against they battled, right? They battled against each other a lot. So maybe it's that reason there, but it does seem like Nurkic, whenever he's out there against Jokic, I'm not saying he completely dominates him or stops him or anything like that, but he does seem to have some success, right? I think that's clear, especially from watching a few of the games they played. This series, to me, I mean, Will Barton, for sure, he's back for game 1. Is that confirmed?
No, I don't think he'll play game 1. I see him still out. He won't return till 5/29, so maybe game 4. Barton, earliest Barton back to game 4, I think.
So game 4, I mean, that's big that Will Barton is a bigger factor for this series, I think, because I think they're going to need his offense and his ball handling on the perimeter. Exactly. I think Facu's a really good point guard, but he struggles at times when he's missing that outside jumper. And Jokic is going to get the wide open shooter of the ball. We've seen this, right? He is unselfish. He's going to get people who are open the ball. They need to hit some shots. They're going to need guys like Facu to be hitting those shots to have success. I agree with Tyler. I think this series is going to be almost like a trade-off where we see a 6 or probably 7-game series, and they're trading games back and forth. My lean right now, I feel like I should pick Denver here, but I think right now Portland is the side that I think I'm going to go with here. Not as confident on it as I'd like to be because I do think Denver has a real shot. Portland never plays defense. They're a perfect team to go against because they just are not good defensively. But to me, Portland just has better players right now than Denver. And I'm going to take the team with better players and a guy like Dame who hit big shots, right? He can hit them. So he's perfect for these playoffs, especially when we get to a game 7. I mean, give me Dame to take some of those final shots. I'll take my chances.
Hey, and you've been on fire calling out these matchups so far, and this is an idea I had. I wanted to run it by you. What about putting Aaron Gordon on Dame towards the end of the game? How crazy is that?
I mean, I don't think it's crazy.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay, here is the thing with Dame. Teams don't want to do it in the regular season because it's a pain. No one wants to really do it. I think you need to pick him up full court. This is where I think Facu could annoy him a little bit more is – teams should be picking him up full court and just pressuring him all the way up the court and not letting him be able to just dribble past half court and pull up. That's the wrong way to defend Dame. Now, again, in the regular season, teams aren't going to do this. In the postseason, though, I can see it more where Facu's used to pick him up full pressure and just kind of stay on him, annoy him as much as he can. But late in games, I could see a scenario where Aaron Gordon is on him. I don't think that's crazy at all. Just to get some length on him, right? Yeah. I don't know if he can, I don't know full game if you want to run Aaron Gordon.
No, I do that. I do that in the last 4 minutes to just kind of throw things off.
Late in game, yeah. I could completely see it. I think Facu, though, is the perfect person, for most of the game to annoy him. Yeah, exactly. Just say, all right, dude, just do what you do. He likes to pick guys up full court anyways, but pick him up full court and just try and stay in front of him and try and make it as tough as possible. Do what you can. Try and get in his head. That's probably the best way to do it. It's going to be really tough because Dame is just so good. But I do like the idea of last 4 minutes putting Aaron Gordon on him. I think that's a really sharp move. We'll see if Malone actually does it, but.
Yeah, I got that from just watching some other Denver games where I saw that he was putting Gordon on guards towards the end, and I said, that'd be interesting against Dame. That might actually be their best shot. Travis,
this is a real toss-up, though. This is 100%.
Really is.
I feel like it's a real toss-up.
If it gets to plus 125, I think you could take the dog either way. Just at plus 125.
I agree with that.
Value. Travis, I see you bouncing around down there. So excited about this series. Jump in there. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a tough one, but I feel decent about the Portland side. I've talked through like scenarios a lot. One thing I talked about was what is Aaron Gordon going to do? Where are they going to put him on the court? Also, the series, not that it changed a little bit, but they added another aspect of this series that came in. Will Barton's back on the team, which I think matters a little bit. I think that plays into some different things that you can see. Like, I think Facu could get ran off the court defensively, right? I think you could see Dame just carve him up a ton where they just end up going. I wouldn't be shocked if you see them close with the lineup of Rivers, Barton, MPJ, Gordon, and then Jokic, right? I would be shocked if you saw that kind of lineup to try and slow them down at the end of games. And I was wondering, okay, like if you take off a ball handler like Facu, who I think could be helpful for them offensively, how much will that hurt them with having guys like MPJ and like funneling that usage to MPJ and Jokic? Will that be too much of a problem for them to not have a better guard, right? To have like an Austin Rivers there. I do think that Will Barton could help them out. My only other problem with Will Barton is the dude sometimes takes up too much usage than he doesn't need to be taking, right? Like, so I've been thinking through this series a lot because I think it's very close. I agree. I think this one goes 7, like you guys think as well, or even 6. It's going to be a close one. This one's not going to be a sweep. It's not going to be a 4-1 either way. I think it goes 7. I lean to go with Portland mainly because I just think that Dame's just going to get it done in that last game. I think that Jokic, I love him from watching basketball, and like he's amazing to watch. But Nurkic is going to be someone who can cause some problems for him down low, right? Also, the way basketball is now, like it's a guard league, right? I mean, I love Jokic and all, but at the same time, I just don't know if he's going to take over enough, right? We know he's been passive at times, and it's because he's so great at passing, right? But they need him to take over. They don't have Jamal Murray to do that anymore. When it gets late in the game, Murray would do that for Jokic, and that's just not there anymore. So I lean going to Portland. I think it's going to be an awesome series to watch. I hope we get all the guys healthy. I hope we get it to 7 because this is the one that would be probably the best series if we got it to 7 games.
Yeah, I mean, this is fantastic. And all these, you guys predicting 7 reminds me of 2 years ago in Denver where I'm holding 4-figure Denver tickets and they blow the 15-point lead in the second half of Game 7. Still traumatized by that. Don't know if I'll ever get over it. But I think you guys made some great points on that series. Let's go to another fun one. The Atlanta Hawks are taking on your New York Knicks there, Tyler. They're minus 128. And the Knicks are plus 112 right now. 17,000 strong in the Garden. How are you approaching this series? I lean the Knicks right now, but I didn't make a bet. I think it can go either way. You can make good arguments on both sides.
I mean, I think this one is just pretty much as a coin flip as the one before. I got to kind of lean towards the Atlanta side here.
Okay.
Just for the simple fact that I just don't think, I think the Knicks were a product of that regular season. They were one of the very few teams that was trying night in and night out. I think that record's a little inflated. I also think late game, when they need a bucket, it's easier to game plan for them, like defensively, as like the Hawks side. Because when you look at the Knicks, it's like, all right, it's either Rose is going to be at the top of the key with the ball, setting up the offense, or it's going to be Randall catching it in the post, taking one step and pulling up for a jumper, or he's going to spin and try and get to the bucket. They can kind of game plan for that to where on the other end, the Knicks defense is great. But if they stop him and all of a sudden Trae Young pulls up from 40 feet and hits the 3, you can't game plan for that.
Right.
So, I mean, give me the team with the star player. I got to roll with Atlanta here. Probably this one goes 6 to 7 games too.
Tyler picking against his favorite team. JSU, we talk about how the regular season is not the postseason that often. This would be the series that I would argue, hey, let's go ahead and use the regular season results. Number one, the Knicks play it like it's a postseason all year long, running playoff-style rotations and defensive level intensity. And 2, what do the Hawks really know about ramping it up for the postseason? Who's got postseason experience on this team? Gallinari maybe got a little run some here. Lou Williams has been a backup in the playoffs here. But this is an inexperienced team.
Who has experience on the Knicks, though?
That's why I'm saying, like, hey, we can use the regular season game for this one. I think it's going to look like a regular season game. What do you think, JSU? Who do you got in this one?
Yeah, so I mean, I think this series is clear. I don't even think that this is I definitely don't think it's close like the last series. This is the Knicks series for sure. Atlanta is fraudulent for the New York Knicks. Yes, you can take the Knicks sample of the regular season because they tried the entire regular season. They were like one of the teams. We've been saying it all the time. Like what you saw from the Knicks, you can just pull it over. That's what you're going to see in the postseason. Like that's exactly what you're going to see. It's no different. They're not a team that was like, we'll just wait until, they're not the Lakers where it was like, even when they had all their guys healthy, it was like, well, when it gets time to turn it on, we'll turn it on, we'll win. And, it's fine, whatever. This is the Knicks. They've been trying this entire time. Julius Randle is not going to be easy for this team to stop. Like John Collins is not going to he's not going to be the answer for Julius Randle. I think Randle dominates. This is where Derrick Rose and guys like Alec Burks are going to be bigger factors than you think when it comes postseason time, because those are guys you can put the ball in their hands and they can create, get their own shot, score. And Derrick Rose can hit some big shots. Like he can easily score some buckets too. But Randle's the X factor here. I don't see someone on the other end that can really deal with him. I really don't. If they try and put Gallinari at the 4, it's a mismatch. If they put John Collins in, John Collins does not scare me whatsoever. In no way he scares Julius Randle on the other end. Julius Randle will go right at any of those guys. So I think the Knicks roll here. I mean, I say roll. I'm not saying sweep or anything like that. If I had to guess a series, 4-2 is what I guess here. I just don't think Atlanta's very good. I don't think Trae Young's been that good all year. Yes, they've dealt with some injuries and some guys out for long periods of time, for sure. So as a lot of teams, though. So it just comes down to, coaching. I think both coaches are solid. I think Thibodeau is a little better of a coach, but I think both coaches are solid here. Defense is going to be there. The slow defensive style, I think it's going to end up being, though, is going to be advantage Knicks. They've been forcing it on teams all year. I think they're the better team, and they win out in the end. Give me the Knicks.
Travis, 1 for the Hawks, 1 for the Knicks. Break the tie.
Yeah, I mean, you hate to see JSU on the wrong side, but it's just the truth. I mean, ATL is going to be up in here taking them down, baby. I can't wait. I already got some lunch bets booked. I mean, I am excited for Atlanta. We got the Knicks team again. They're the try-hard regular
Mangone, fade away or something like that. Do the thing you were talking about with Giannis, where you just fade away. Just go fade. Like, get out of here.
No, I'm not going anywhere, JC.
We can take whatever you want, buddy. You want a lunch bet? You got a lunch bet, buddy. You can add me to the books, whatever you want.
JSU, I'll tell you this, the book, there's a lot of people that want this lunch book for sure.
I mean, you want to add JSU to the book? I don't think you want to add JSU to the book. People don't like betting JSU.
Well, we can talk. I mean, I gotta see if Big T wants in on this one, because if Big T wants in, that could be an expensive one. We gotta see.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if he'd want in. I mean, he might want in. I can see him liking the Knicks here.
We'll have to see. I want to talk to him first. Then I'll book around. I'll let you know, JSU.
All right, so it's a TBD dependent on Big T.
You never know what Big T wants to do, right? So if he says up to a certain amount, and when Big T starts talking, sometimes you gotta just kind of even go further up with him to make sure.
Oh no, he's for sure worse than me. Like if he disagreed with you, he'd be telling you to get out of here. Yeah. Like literally just telling you to stop talking.
Now, I get it. Gallinari, you're saying, yes, it could be a mismatch. The thing I like about the Hawks in general here in this series, I personally think the Hawks, they have a lot of depth. And I know, JC, you'll say, oh, well, depth doesn't matter. Well, they have the depth to create different matchups. And whenever they are having issues, they can throw different things at you, right? They can go with Collins at the 4. They can go with Gallinari at the 4. They could go small ball Collins at the 5, right? I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but they have a lot of ways to go is what I'm saying. Again, Jason, yes, Collins at the 5 is not it. The point
Please run Collins at the 5. God help us. I would love it right now. They'd be a lock if they ran Collins at the 5. Like that would be worst case.
The point I'm making is they have a lot of ways that they can go. They can put Bogdanovich at the 3. They can put Lou Williams at the 2. They just have a lot of routes, I think, to adjust throughout a series with a coach who can make really good adjustments versus a coach that I don't believe in it as much as you guys. Do I think Tom Thibodeau's great at giving his guys minutes and being a good motivator? Sure, like all that stuff. Like
giving his guys minutes, that's a skill.
But he definitely creates a great coach dynamic. But like X and O's guy, do you want Thibodeau out there drawing up the board for you? Spread, is he the guy you want?
On the defensive end, I do think that he will be able to give Trae Young some issues. I think that he will be able to force the ball to the shooters.
I guess you're right. That's
Williams and Capella. On the defensive end,
draw up X's and O's, Mangone. What do you mean? There's no X's and O's. Just give Julius Randle or Derrick Rose the ball and get out of their way. Like literally, or Alec Burks. Like, RJ Barrett's fine. I like RJ Barrett. He's a solid basketball player. But I mean, when the game gets tight, give those three guys the ball and just get the hell out of their way and let them go get buckets. We'll see.
But who's going to stop Capella? Right, Capella's going to be a beast for sure. Bogdanovich, Trae Young, that's the thing. You can just hand it to either one of them and they can get the job done. Just the starting five of what they can do. And I think they're very underrated, Atlanta. And the reason why I'll say that is because you saw once they got rid of their coach, everything changed for them. Now, I don't have in front of me like the records of the teams they played, and maybe they just beat up on a bunch of lame teams throughout that stretch, but they were playing some really good basketball. And then I remember they beat the Suns not too long ago by 20. It was one of those fatigue spots, right? So it was definitely a bad spot for the Suns to move out. I think it was off an overtime game, back-to-back. But ultimately, I don't want to sleep on Atlanta here. And when there's a team that I know was trying their hardest during the regular season, and a team that was banged up a lot of the season in the Hawks, they never had their full crew, and now they're kind of all coming together. Give me Atlanta, JSU. I mean, I got them. They're taking this series down, and I get it. You got all these people trying to get lunch for me. I got the sharp money on my side. Movement's gone my way. So as JJ says, I got the closing line value in my favor. So the sharps are on my side, JSU.
Yeah, the sharps so nobody's considering 17,000 fans in New York. I mean, this has to be a huge advantage there too, right? I mean, those guys are not going to be. It's not going to be a polite golf clap crowd, right? I mean, they're going to be drinking since 10 a.m.
Spread, here's my one problem with that, though. All I heard from the Knicks players was, it's been great with the Garden having no one in the stands because everyone gets up for it when we're at MSG. You can't have it both ways, Spread. The fans can't hurt you and help you. You can't do that. So if you told me in November it was easier because there were less fans, you can't tell me that the fans coming in now makes it better for you. You can't do that, New York Knickerbockers. It's not allowed.
One thing too,
that's a fair point.
I saw our boy West Coast in the chat. He's saying something about can't back a team that starts Elf Payton. First of all, Derrick Rose might be the one guy who the minutes outside of Derrick Rose, maybe everyone else, the minutes are probably what they've been getting. Derrick Rose might be the one guy where I could see the minutes go up even more, where Julius Randle and RJ Barrett were playing 40 minutes most of the regular season. It can't go up too much. You know what I mean? Could they play 42 or 43? Yeah, maybe. But Derrick Rose might actually get more run, which means less run for Elfrid Payton. So I wouldn't worry too much about, Alf starting or not starting. He's going to see even less time, I think, in the postseason now that it's the postseason because they clearly want Rose out there. They're going to want Burks out there a bunch. So those guys are going to get, even more run, I think, now that it's postseason time. So those are the two guys I think you could maybe give a few more minutes to what they've been getting in the regular season. The minutes might go up for them a little more, which will directly affect guys like Payton or Quickly or Frankie Ntilikina, some of those guys. So we'll see, but I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Well, one last thing. Your sharp coach in Tom Thibodeau, he talked up about how Frank Ntilikina might get some run in this series. So
I'm sure he did. You want to know why?
Why?
Because he loves Frank Ntilikina's defense for whatever reason.
Gets run.
If it's replacing Elf Payton, then it's fine. If it's taking from others, problem. Massive problem.
I don't have a problem with it. You know why? You have to check 5 guys, but there's only one ball. I only need one guy to score, but I need to check 5 guys on defense.
He needs to make sure that for most of this game, 3 out of the 4 of RJ, Julius Randle, Rose, and Burks are always on the floor. That's what he needs to do. That should be his play. If he's going to run out Frank Ntilikina, if he's going to run him out there for defense, he needs to make sure that he has 2 or 3 of those scorers always on the floor, which I think he'll do, honestly, because I see Randall playing 40-plus minutes. RJ Barrett's going to probably play 40-plus minutes. So he should do that. I don't think it's going to hurt those guys too much. They need the O out there. I will also say too, we got Redmond in the chat. He's calling you out about Collins at the 5. I don't think it's going to happen, Redmond. So we don't even have to worry about it.
Guys, I'm giving exampmples, right? My point was they can do so many different things, right? Like they can slide guys in different positions. So when you're in a playoff series, the value in that, which I get, I'm not someone that's saying having a depth of 12 guys is great, but having the depth be able to change up guys throughout the series of, hey, we can throw this guy in. For instance, you guys just talked about Frank Ntilikina, being able to throw him in for his defensive person. Having those small guys to throw in throughout the series, I think can go a long way. So I think the Hawks have that type of depth to adjust throughout the series. You could see this. You could see 2 games through. You could see the Knicks maybe have the Hawks number, and then there's a quick flip where the Hawks make an adjustment, right? We see this all the time in series. I'm forgetting which Bucks series that happened in, but I don't know if you remember. I think it was the Celtics Bucks, right? Remember when it was Kyrie and them? The Celtics looked great in the first couple games, and they were going to beat the Bucks. And the Bucks made an adjustment, and then it was over. It was absolute curtains for the Celtics. And you see that in series, and that's just something I think the Hawks have in their arsenal when they have some matchups going forward. And I think they can maybe pull that off during the Knicks.
So we talked about the Knicks guard rotation. We talked about their offense, yet still nobody brought up Quickly.
Well, he's probably not going to get a lot of run, is he?
I would play him over Ntilikina.
Yeah, well, of course, because he's way more talented than Ntilikina. But the problem is he doesn't have the backing of the coach. So
and if I'm up,
it doesn't matter what we think.
And if I'm up by 10, I'd rather have Frankie Smokes in there. I can't even say
he wasn't running them out in close games in the regular season. There's no way he's running them out there for close games in the postseason. He's got to have big trust in all the guys he's running out there. Either they have to be unbelievable offensively or they have to be able to play defense too, because that's what he wants. He wants guys that can go out there and play defense and score. And if you can't play defense or he thinks that you struggle on defense, you're out. That's the truth.
That's part where Quickly loses his minutes at. He just runs me as another guy for the Knicks so they can hit that big shot if they need it.
Yeah, this is a good point, and Redmond brings it up. Quickly is the perfect example of if he's not hot, he won't play. If he gets hot and he comes out there and he hits a couple threes early, yes, he could get extended run, but he needs to be hot to get the extended run or he's coming out.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. Travis, just a couple things on your points. Number one, Collins, you're not going to play him at the 5, but I do think that you have a good point there because even in transition, right, he can pick up a 5. You don't do that game in and game out, but it does help your transition defense. The other thing I wanted to push back on you a bit, though, is, we talk about adjustments. Nate McMillan has never been known for making adjustments, and that was what cost him his Pacers job. Not the fact that he was losing, but that he was getting swept and that they used the same game plan 4 games in a row. So, but I think we had some great conversation on that game. We gave you good ideas for both sides there.
Real quick, I think they go more. I think they don't go as much Collins as you'd think, right? I do think that they could go a little bit more Gallinari. And again, they're not going to just throw Gallo on Randall, right? They're going to throw more at Randall. They're not going to let Randall beat him, right? They're going to actually going to sit there and leave him on an island. They're going to cause problems. They're going to force the ball into other people's hands. This ain't the regular season, and I'm excited to watch it. I mean, it's going to be a really fun series either way. And again, I hope at the end of the day, I'm back here and I'm making fun of Redmond. He's not making fun of me. I'm making fun of JSU. He's not making fun of me. Hopefully that's the case. If not, no worries.
Well, if anyone can afford to buy all of Run Pure some lunch, it'd be you, Travis Mangone, Mr. Cash Chart. So
I will say, Mangone, you're gonna have a tough time making fun of me at the end of this series, buddy. You might need to look at a different series to make fun of me. That's all I'm gonna say.
That might be the least of my problems. I'll just to give you a perspective of how this all went down. I was talking about how we were talking playoffs with some of the guys. We were playing some video games, right? And I said I liked Atlanta, and Hector's like, "Oh, let's do lunch over that." And then Bobby chimes in. He goes, "Oh, I want to do lunch too." everyone just wants lunch with me. So I'm excited.
Because Hector and Bobby are sharp. That's what I'm talking about.
I'll tell you this: if I do win, right? I mean, I might have like 7 lunch bets on. I might have to take a picture each day and add each person on Twitter whenever I have lunch. I mean, it could be.
Travis, it sounds like this is real popular. Instead of those $555 tickets we give away, we might have to just start giving away lunch with Travis, and we might even get even more signups. But before we go too long, let's go to the main event, because I think we gave some good ideas on both sides. If people are going to play that, we definitely gave them the arguments for each team. Let's talk about the Phoenix Suns at plus 137 hosting the Los Angeles Lakers. First time in a long time. I have to really go back. I can't remember a 7 seed being favored over a 2 seed. And this opened it even more. Phoenix is taking money. Tyler, let's break down the main event, the one that everybody wants to see. Do you have the Lakers advancing past the Phoenix Suns?
I think I heard on some show yesterday said it's been 50 years since a 7 seed's been favored over a 2 seed.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember it in my lifetime. And so, yeah, it's about right. 50 years.
Everyone wants to pencil the Lakers in just for the second round conference finals and finals already.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that after watching that game against the Warriors, because LeBron couldn't really get around Wiggins. Mm-hmm. Bridges should be able to defend him in this series pretty well. Everywhere else is pretty much even. They'll have the advantage in the guard play with Booker and Paul. It really hinges on how AD plays, because he's going to be the giant mismatch. If he dominates the series, they win. If he's average, I could see him losing this series.
JSU, I was going through this morning. I wanted to take the Suns. I was looking for reasons. I don't know how they're going to stop AD. That's the matchup that I keep going back to. Not to mention the Lakers, I think, can defend Booker and CP3. I mean, obviously, you're not shutting them down, but I think they have the great personnel to be able to do that. Even Wes Matthews can give them some trouble there. I got Caruso. Schrader hasn't been bad on the defensive end. I think this is really tough. I really want to back the Suns. I'm a Sacramento guy. You know, I'm still hurting over 2002. I want the Suns to win. I'm having problems finding the path to victory. Can you lead me there?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll tell you why you have problems finding the path to victory. There's not many paths to victory. Like, that's just the truth. I mean, listen, I would love to pick against the Lakers. I would love it. You cannot pick the Suns in this series. The Lakers are going to own the Suns. Anthony Davis is going to dominate them. They have no answer for him. LeBron is going to be fine. Like, I throw the game out against Golden State because it's a one-gamer. The Golden State needed that game, right? It's like and again, the Lakers, what did they do, right? They played down all game, and then in the end, they come out of nowhere and they win. That's just typical. Like LeBron, he just, well, boom, you know, maybe he didn't have the best game, but like in the end, he got it done. That's how he went. He knew he wasn't losing. Like he wasn't losing 2 games in a row to not get into the playoffs. Like he knew that. So whatever, I'm throwing that game out. I also think Golden State is just like, for one game, they can do that to any team. They can give any team fits, because Steph Curry is a cheat code. Like he just is. He's a tough guy to scheme against and defend. It's really tough to stop him, especially when he's playing the way he's been playing. So I throw that game out. I think the Suns just, in the end, they just don't have enough. Again, this is where I'm throwing the regular season out. The Suns have been one of the better regular season teams all year. That's not like, that's fact, right? They've been one of the best teams all year. And they get the one team, I think, that is just going to dominate them, and they're not going to have an answer for it. I love CP3. I wish I could pick the Suns, but I can't do it. The Lakers are going to win this series, whether it's, 4-1, 4-2. I don't know. 4-2 is probably I'll put 2 games as respect for the Suns, but in the end, the Lakers win out.
Yeah, I think this is a tough one. Travis, I was channeling my inner LeBron yesterday. I poked myself in the eye. I saw 3 monitors, but I still hit submit on the over in the Wizards game. It just felt fantastic. But what do you think of this game, and how hard is it to shoot when you see 3 hoops?
Yeah, definitely going to be tough to shoot when you see 3 hoops. But, I mean, he can find a way to get it done, I think. Or he could pass it, right? You don't have to shoot it, LeBron. You like basketball as well. Yeah, Jason, don't disrespect them too much. I mean, don't put that 4-1 stuff. Put some respect on the Suns' name.
4-2. I said 4-2. I said 4-2.
You still said 4-1 at first. Can put respect on their name. They've done us good this year. They've been a great team. It sucks to have to just kind of like let them.
I want them to win, Mangone. I literally want them to win. I want LeBron to lose. I don't know how many times I have to say this. They're just not gonna win. Like unless there's injuries. Like if AD goes down, now we're talking. But AD, there's just when AD's on, there's not much many teams can do to stop. He's the ultimate mismatch. Everyone wants to talk about LeBron GOAT. LeBron is the GOAT. Whatever. AD. Well, he's not the GOAT. He's not better than Michael Jordan. Yeah. That's a different discussion. But I'm just saying AD is the X factor because just with his size and the way he can play inside and out, he's just so tough to guard. Like overall, it's such a mismatch for these teams. It's going to be tough for the Suns to handle it.
Yeah, I'm sad I can't pick the Suns. West Coast Gem, I know you wanted me to take the Suns in the first round. You're lucky that ran into the Lakers. This is crap. You could have had it, like you should not have cheered for the Lakers to be your bet because I'm not going to make that bet. Like that's a bad bet. I'm not. I wasn't born yesterday, so. Yeah, I mean, I'm on the Lakers. It seems like you just go that route and you call it a day. Listen, if the Suns do win this series, right? If they do win, like take me back, Phoenix. I'm sorry. I hope you find a way to get it done. If you do win the series, take me back, please. I bet you to win the division. Like, I mean, I rode you all year. I can't ride you here though. But if you get it done, we'll definitely be together in round 2. But Lakers, they're going to just be too much. And like the other thing too, like if things do get tough for the Lakers and it does go 7. You're just going to see 80 at the 5, then they'll just get the job done. Like it's just, I just have no faith in them getting it done.
All right. Well, I think that's fantastic. I built that as the main event, but it seemed like we were all on the same page there. Maybe we should have ended with the Hawks.
Can we say something honest too about this? Like the NBA does not want LeBron losing in the first round.
No,
if it got to like 3-3, the whistles are blowing in Lakers.
Oh yeah, LeBron's going to get every call, and they don't want him losing in the first round. Like. That game against Golden State, it was a wild monster views, right? I was seeing the numbers on it. It was like crazy, the numbers for that game. People love LeBron. They tune into like he is that polarizing. The NBA doesn't want him leaving after one series. There's no way they're losing in the first round. Like like I said, unless there's
they would
injury.
have to get dominated off the floor for them to lose.
Yeah, there'll be some slight stuff in his favor, right? Of course, because the NBA will make sure. But like a good example of spread, I was laughing when I saw this in the tennis world. I think like maybe a year ago or less, like one of like the best players in like tennis got kicked out for something he did like with like the ref where like he hit the ball and hit someone.
Yeah, I lost a lot of money on that. Yeah.
Who was it?
It was Novak Djokovic, and he hit the ball and he hit a line.
I remember that day.
Why on earth would you kick your like the guy that draws like he draws the seat, right? Draws the views, everyone to come in and watch. People are tuning in to watch him beat up on lame tennis players. They're not going to watch some tennis players that don't matter. I'm sorry you lost, spread. I'm sorry.
It was the only way. It was pretty much the only way he was losing that tournament.
So it's like, I mean, like you protect your stars in those moments. I'm sure they're going to protect. They want to get LeBron against Kawhi, and they want to do all that. So it'll be a fun thing to watch, and I can't wait to keep breaking it all down and play DFS for it as well. DFS is a lot of fun this time, and these 4-game playoffs on Saturday and Sunday, they're going to be absolutely awesome. So I can't wait.
God, West Coast Jam, stop with the Jordan push-off.
Are we still talking about that?
Stop. Every great player, they all get these calls. Like we're acting like LeBron never got calls in big games. Stop it. Like they give the great players the calls. They always will till the end of time.
Yeah.
I don't care. You can take it back whenever. They always give them the calls. Those big guys, those big name players, always.
Yeah. All right. So let's do it. Let's wrap up. Since we're not doing a normal best bet section, why don't we just go around and let's give our predictions for who wins each conference and who wins the title. And I'll give out the price if I've got it in front of me. Tyler, who do you think is in the NBA Finals this year?
JSU is going to hate me for this one.
Well, that's what we're here for. We're here to work up JSU. We get the most likes and the most interaction when JSU
you have two choices. You can say the team you're going to say, or just disappear like the guy you're going to talk about.
I might as well disappear then because that lineup intrigues me against the Nets. I think they can beat them, and I don't think Phillies can beat them. So I think it's Milwaukee out of the East.
Ooh, all right.
Give me the Clippers out of the West, and give me the Clippers finishing it off and getting that title they were supposed to get last year.
Man, we talk too much because I didn't even prep this, and that's what I'm going to go for too. Spoiler alert. JSU, you're not going to do that though. Let's hear who your predicted finals is.
Hold on, go to Mangone.
All right, Mangone, predicted finals. Who do you got?
Yeah, I got mine pretty much locked in, so I feel really good about the Nets in the East. Right. I've seen like plus 105, I think, on them.
Yeah, it's minus 110 right now.
Okay, perfect. I am on the Nets. I'm also on them to play against the Clippers, I would say. The Clippers' path is not it's not as great anymore. I was hoping you could maybe get the Lakers on the other side. But I'm going to stick with the Clippers. I like what they've done. I don't have as strong a conviction on the West for sure. I do think it's going to be Lakers or Clippers that probably end up coming through, but I'm going to lean with the Clippers this time around. And then I'm going to take the Nets to beat the Clippers in the NBA Finals.
Wow, I like it. I like it a lot. And I'll tell you what, the Bucks is definitely a long shot. And it's hard to argue against the Nets, but I do like you picking the Clippers here too. I'm actually kind of surprised here for they've been kind of a quiet team this year. And of course, haven't answered.
They've been very good, and they've been playing kind of hurt too. Like they have had injuries, and they're still playing phenomenal. So once they have all the pieces together, I think people are sleeping on the Clippers a bit. If I wasn't holding Nets tickets from like before Harden got traded, I would consider finding some value on the Clippers. I think there is some on them there.
I think you can throw it in there right now. They're a plus 5 something on Bookmaker right now to win the championship. Plus 570. I don't think that's that bad at all. JSU, what do you like?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's boring, but it's just going to be what happens. The Lakers and the Nets are going to be in the finals.
You say that's boring, but, I mean, that would be the best rating.
Well, I'm saying, like, because they're the two favorites, obviously.
I think that'd be great.
And 2 for NBA because of the rating. Stars everywhere, right? You got LeBron, AD, KD, Harden, Kyrie, that would be the
even
dream.
The Joe
That's
Harris
what they
Caruso
want.
matchup. Let's go.
Joe Harris Caruso
for the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, everyone. That's what's going to happen, though. It's just what's going outside of major injuries for some of these teams. That's what's going to happen. KD against LeBron. I can't wait if that happens. I'm really interested to see because honestly, I think that series is a toss-up. I'm going to say that the Nets end up winning, though, barring injury. I think that they would be the better team in that scenario. And I think with the Lakers will have a tough time guarding them because all those guys, perimeter guys, but they can do different things. The size for the Lakers, I don't worry about as much. They're going to have to play a lot more with AD at the 5-2 in that matchup. It really hurts Drummond. I think Drummond gets taken out of that series a lot more. Even though he could dominate, but he's going to get left on islands against guys like James Harden and Kyrie, and that's where the mismatches will come. So I think he gets pushed off the floor, and the Nets would have the advantage to me. So give me the Nets as the winner overall, but I think that's what happens.
And if they do that, I would like DeAndre Jordan to be like Barry Zito there, where he doesn't do anything for the whole life of his contract, and then just comes in and plays a solid 5 games against AD, and nobody cares.
It could happen.
I think that could happen. I think it'd be a great matchup. Travis, what were you going to say?
I'll say, Jason, you buried the lead. I mean, I know why you picked the Nets and Lakers. I mean, you love a good Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond, revenge of former stars narrative. That's why you did it, JSU. Come on to you.
Shout out Hector right there. You saw that.
Yeah, we almost made it 90 minutes without bringing up the word revenge.
Not
Travis made sure that we did not do it. Gentlemen, this was a lot of fun. I appreciate it, and it seems like everyone in the chat really liked it too. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. Tyler, do you got anything else before we get out of here?
Not really. I mean, let's just hope for a fun playoffs.
Oh, it'll be fun.
I mean, I love my matchup in the finals, but we'll probably get JSU's, and then they'll run it back the next year when the Lakers have Curry, and then they'll have the storylines.
Don't say that. Don't say that. I might have to quit capping NBA if the Lakers get Curry.
That rumor? No,
don't do that. Don't do that.
He said, "Don't do that."
Come on, that's not happening.
That'd be like when Hogan went heel. We can't do that. JSU, do you got anything else before we get out of here?
Yeah, we got some shows over on the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. We got a 4 p.m. MLB show today, 4 p.m. Eastern time, and then a 5:30 premium show with me, Holden, and I don't know if it's going to be Big T or if I'm going to find someone else because Big T is driving up or flying up for the live final or whatever. So he might be unavailable. So if he's unavailable, we'll try and find a third. And I think Mangone's on the 4:00 show, right, Mangone?
Yeah, I'm on the early show. If you need me for the Up the Lock, I can jump on with you for the next
I'll let you know. I'm still waiting to hear back from. I think Tony's going to be kind of busy, so.
That's all. Yeah, I mean, let me know. I mean, I can just stay on. I'm just.
The West Coast Gem, of course, I'm going to be on the Nets. I respect LeBron. I think he's one of the greatest players of all time. I just don't think he's the great. And if you think that that's disrespectful, which some people may think it's disrespectful, that's fine. I don't care. Michael Jordan's the greatest player ever. I'll say it, and I'll keep saying it. Doesn't matter.
I respect LeBron. I just can't root for him. I mean, but you can't admit. I mean, everything he's done. Even if I want to get on him, everything he's done as a person, opening up the school and everything, right? I mean, I almost feel bad rooting against him because I feel like he's a genuinely good person, right?
It has nothing to do with him, though.
Yeah, but
outside
it's just when
of basketball,
you say stuff like "I'm seeing 3 rims," like come on.
No, but this is my point, though. I think people think that because of what he says that has nothing to do with basketball, I hate on him for. I don't care about any of that. I could give a shit what he says, and I don't care. I don't put that against him. Like I wouldn't put it against Jordan. He didn't really say many things outside of basketball, so it didn't matter. But if he did, I still wouldn't care. In the end, I'm just looking at straight basketball. And if I watch Jordan play and I watch LeBron play, I personally see two different players in style. Obviously, LeBron is just a bigger, stronger human than everyone else on the floor right now. He is a specimen when it comes to that, athletic, crazy, whatever. But, man, Michael Jordan, the killer instinct he had, I don't know, to me, that'll always be, the greatest player of all. Even Kobe, Kobe had that killer instinct. He wanted to destroy everyone. No one was his friend, even his teammates. He rode his teammates so hard. God, I love those type of players. So it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with LeBron. Hate for LeBron. I just prefer those type of guys. That's what I see the greatest player as. LeBron is just different. He's not that way. So that's why. It has nothing to do with anything else. And I think that's something that people may think, oh, it's because of his antics or whatever. No, do I like that he cries and complains to the refs constantly? No, I don't like that at all. But that has nothing to do with who I think's better. Just give me the guy with the killer instinct who I know in a game 7 is going to go out there and he's going to friggin' die to win that game. Look, that was Michael Jordan and Kobe. Always.
Yep. Yeah. So before we go too far down that rabbit hole, we will call it. But I appreciate all the insight today. I think we got some great differing perspectives, especially on the 2 series that are really tough to call, the Portland, Denver, and then, of course, New York, Atlanta. So I appreciate you guys all hanging out and giving your perspectives there. I will be back tomorrow at 10. Might be by myself, might grab someone else. Not exactly sure, but we'll be bringing those back. And then after that, we will be back on Monday. So I appreciate everyone for hanging out. Of course, head on over to runpurebets.com. Use the promo code BETS25 off to get access to my picks and the rest of the team. They have been running well lately. We got UFC, we got NASCAR, and Snyder can't lose in golf. So definitely worth the money. Promo code BETS25 off. Runpurebets.com. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Please give us a like and run pure.